Okay, so I've quickly had a look at the syntax. I've quickly had a look at the syntax for our GraphQL query. So what we need to do is we can query our portfolios like this, and we say where, and where it's going wrong is we need this object where the slug is going to equal, and then, you know, let's do this work hard anywhere, like so, and then we pass that in, and then we're back to title description. And then what we need to do to make this work for dynamically is add these variables. So I think we can add a slug variable like this. So we'll just do the same thing, work hard anywhere. And then if we do like this, variable slug is not defined. So let's have a quick look at this. I know we need to define it. So yeah, actually let's do it. Where are we at? So if we do query, where's it gone? Query. So if we give the query a name, query get portfolios, like so, portfolios. Let's have a look. Query get portfolios. We're gonna say it's gonna take in a slug variable, which is a string, like this. Then we want to return portfolios like this, where, and then we can say slug. Can we do it like this, where slug is slug? I don't know. And then we want to get, no. Variables are invalid JSON. Ah, yeah, of course. Error is line 2 expected name. This is line 2 expected name, but found that. Why is it not liking this? So we got a query title. Is it that where syntax? We don't need the where syntax. So let's just take that. Let's just take this. Let's just steal it and see where we get to. So query get portfolio. We've got the slug, which is a string. We want the portfolios where the slug equals slug. And then we want to return the ID and the title. Unknown argument slug on field query.portfolios. Why? Unknown argument. So is that where we do this where? And is this not just where we were before? Okay, perfect. So I'm not sure what I had wrong with my syntax, but we've got it now. So then we just want to get, so let's copy these across. But then I also want the content so. Okay, so we now have this query. So let's see what that looks like in the front end. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm still figuring this this GraphQL stuff out as we go. The syntax is a little bit strange when you don't use it a lot. Okay, so we need in our folder, let's do a portfolio folder, and then we're going to need a slug dynamic route, like so. So we're just going to have the word slug wrapped in square brackets .js. And then, let's just copy this index page for now to give us something. So we are going to want that. So let me just we just want to get portfolio items, because what we're going to do is inside of get static paths, we're going to find all of our portfolio items. So we don't have an API folder, we don't need that. Where is it gone? Lib, here we go. So inside of here, let's just make another called get portfolio items, like so. Everything's going to stay the same. We're just not going to have these posts. Yeah. So get portfolio items, we're literally doing the exact same thing, except we're not having posts. And then what we can do on here is get posts, and we're just going to have the posts and not the portfolio items, like so. So we've got now get posts and get portfolio items. So for this one, we want get portfolio items like this, and then I believe //lib data, like so. So we want to get portfolio items, and then we can return props portfolio items is going to be data, like that. I'm going to take in here portfolio items. Now this is we're not actually gonna yeah, what am I doing? I don't want all these items get portfolio items. I want that in my get static paths. So what we want is a query now for okay, let's do this. So we'll get portfolio item, which is going to take in a slug, like so. And then the query here is going to be this. And then we're going to do variables like this. So then we're going to say slug is going to be slug. So we can just do that. Constant. So constant variables. And I believe we just pass the variables in there, like so. So get portfolio item. Yeah, so on here, let's do get portfolio item. So we do const portfolio item equals the weight get portfolio item, and then that needs to take in the params.slug, and then we can take the params from here, and then we can just return this portfolio item. Okay, and then we do want to pass this portfolio item like so, and then let's console log that. So we can get rid of this, and then, let's do a h1 and just say, portfolio item dot title. So where we are, awesome portfolio. if we click on that, then nothing happens. That's not good. Facebook app landing page. So we need our get static paths. So what I'm gonna do right now is so if we do get static paths equals this, and then we want to return, I think paths is an empty array, we'll do fallback for true, and then hopefully, am I in the right place? Is that a portfolio item? Yeah. Get static paths. Yeah, we've got get static paths. Oh, that is not the right page. Sorry. Okay, get static paths. Okay, can I read property title of undefined? So what we can do, we're going to import the use router hook, use router, and I'm only doing this. We're not actually going to use this from next router. Down here, we're just going to say router equals use router. So we're going to get the router, and then we're just going to say if router.is fallback. Then I want to return a div which just says loading, like that. Okay, perfect. So essentially, let me explain kind of what I've just fumbled my way through. So we're using the getStaticProps function, which is allowing us to statically generate these pages. Now, because we have a dynamic route, you know, if we have an index page, this is a static page right now, but there's only one page, you know, and it's right here. It knows it exists. If we created an about page and we did some more static, we use getStaticProps, again, there's only the one singular about page, and that's going to be statically generated on build time. But Next.js doesn't know by default where all of our portfolio items are or where all of our posts are. You know, it doesn't know about them. So, you know, what do we do in that instance? So you can take two main approaches. The first one, which we're going to take today, because I think it's good so you can see how it's done, is we're actually going to tell Next.js where all of our posts and portfolios are, so it can statically generate them at build time for us. We're going to declare that in this getStaticPaths function. And the second approach would be if you had 20,000 blog posts, then to go and do a data fetch 20,000 times and build that page, it's going to take some time. You probably don't want to be doing that. So then what we could do is we could do where we've got a fallback mode. So what that means is if when you rebuild your website, you're not going to build any of these paths in advance. But then when someone navigates to the page, which you can see here, it's going to attempt to find the thing that you're looking for. And if it's there, then that's great. It will display the content. If it's not there, then it will 404. But that just means that there's going to be a loading state. So this is why we do this. If the router is in fallback mode, as in it hasn't found the page, I need to go and find it and then build it. If it's in fallback mode, then we're going to return this loading. And that's kind of what you can see happening. So cool. So this portfolio item.title. Welcome to our awesome portfolio. Did I do that title for everything? Oh. Yeah, so we're not actually displaying a H1 anywhere. So we got an object portfolios. I see what's happening. So what we need to do here, so we've got in our get static props, we're returning this portfolio item, which has got portfolios and then 0. So we're going to say portfolio item is portfolio item dot portfolios 0, like that. There's no E in portfolios. And then let me console log this portfolio item. Okay, perfect. So we've now got our title displaying, and then underneath, welcome to our awesome portfolio, but that's for the homepage. So we can see now that Facebook app landing page, Slack app design concept, work hard anywhere. And you can see when we're navigating to those pages, it's fetching that data. So yeah, the next thing, so it's working. The next thing that I want to do though is to actually get all of these things and generate all of the paths in advance. So if we go to the Next.js docs, Next.js org docs, get static paths. So we need every path. So we've got an array of paths, but everyone needs to be an object which has got params, and then this is going to be our slug. So essentially, inside of this paths, we need to have an object which says like params, like so, and then we're going to have slug, and then we'll have our slug goes here, and we want to generate an array of those. So this is why I want to get all of these portfolio items. So we've got get portfolio items, and then what we can do, let me just, again, just to be as efficient as possible, what have I just done? To be as efficient as possible, let's do get portfolio slugs, like so, and then we can just get all of the slugs, like so. So we're genuinely just going to return this portfolios object with the slug, and that is it. So get portfolio slugs. So let's get portfolio slugs, like so. So in our get static paths, I'm going to make this an async function, and I want to do const slugs equals await get portfolio slugs, and then I'll say console log slugs. Let's just leave this empty again for now, and then let's refresh our page. So then we've got portfolios, and that is actually almost where we want it to be. So let's just say now const slugs response is that, and okay, slugs equals slugs response dot portfolio, just so it makes a bit of sense. Slugs response dot portfolios, like that. So then inside of our paths, let's see if we can do this. So let's just say, so we don't need that array, slugs dot map, and then for each slug we want to return, and then let's just check that syntax again. So we want to return an object that says params, and then the slug is going to be slug dot slug, right? Oh no, params, so then the slug is going to be slug dot slug, and fallback should be false. So let's see if we've broken it. No. And of course, it's still going to, in development mode, it's still going to rebuild on every refresh. But if I now just do npm run build, you're going to see what happens. So instead of, it will know about all of these portfolio pages now. So what I'm expecting to see is, it's going to statically build those pages, which it has. So it's statically built these 3 slug pages for our portfolio. So yeah, they're there, they exist, and we're never going to have fallback. So if someone goes to a URL which is not already built, well, then it's going to false straight away because we have this fallback mode to false. So yeah, when you don't have thousands and thousands of items, then it's good to just statically generate them all on build time. Certainly for a portfolio website and a blog, that's a good way to go about doing it. So let's continue on. So you can see if we do Slack app design concept with an S, we're gonna 404 as opposed to this. Cool. So we've now got our index page done. We've got our portfolio route done. We now just need to do the blog. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to create a new folder inside pages called blog, and then we're going to have a new file called slug. And let's copy all of this, and then let's see what we need. So in our data file, we're going to need portfolio slugs. Let's do get blog slugs, and then we can change that to posts like so, and that should work. And then we've got our get posts, which I don't think we need that anymore because we're just using our get slug one. But then we will need the get portfolio item. So we'll need a get post. So we're going to have the same slug variable, but let's change the, instead of getting a portfolio, we want to get a post, get post, and then we want to say posts where a slug is slug. Let's take this stuff here. Is that working? So we need a post slug. So let's add in the post slug here. Yep, so we've got the post. And then what else do we need? So we've got the author name and image, title slug, so we need the content. And I don't think there is anything else we need. So if I copy this query. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So if we copy this query here, we've got our get post. Variables is a slug, get post. Okay. And then let me just get rid of that error for a minute. Okay, so in get static paths, we're going to want to get posts slugs. Did I not do that? Oh, I get blog slugs. Okay. Get blog slugs, get blog slugs, slugs response dot posts, like that, I believe. That should be good. Portfolio, so const post equals await get post. So we're going to import that as well. We're passing in the slug, and then we're going to return the post is going to be post dot posts, and it's going to be the 0 as well. We want here, so returning a post. So we're going to take that post. Let's console log the post. We don't actually need this now because we're not using fallback. And then post a title. And yeah, we're not using the router. So let me just clean this up. And then let me go clean the other one up as well. We don't need this. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, so let's see what we're up to. Perfect. So that is working. Welcome to our awesome portfolio. We don't need that either. Okay, so pretty good progress. We have now got that working, and just to verify that the paths are working, we can do npm run build. And like I said, we're expecting to build, 9 pages now, because we also declared our blog posts in advance, which we have. And then if you do npm start, our development server now becomes a production server, and you can see how quickly things are running, because yeah, we're not fetching that data in advance. We've statically generated all of this. So yeah, you can see that that is working. So, okay, cool. Now it's time to sort of flesh this out and make it look nice. All right, so let's just get all of our content on the page, and then we can worry about making it look nice after that. So let me close all of this stuff. Let's get organized. So let's first of all, we'll do our index page last. So for our portfolio, let's start the dev server, and let me bring it over here. Okay, so on our portfolio items, we've got the title, but then let's console log out this portfolio item, and then we can just start getting these fields. So let's do, so we do a p tag. Why can I not type? So then we want portfolio item dot description. Let's do the tags. So let's add a div. Then we'll say portfolio item dot tags dot map. And we'll say for each tag, let's return. I don't want a p tag. Let me just do a span for this. The key is just going to be the tag itself. That should be unique. And at least for this use case. And then I want to do the tag. Is that, that's good. So then we have got the cover image. So let's import image from next image like so. And then let's just chuck in here the image component is going to have the source, which should be portfolio item.cover image.url. The width is going to be dot width, and then the height is going to be dot height. Okay, so we need to add this URL to our next config. So with next image, essentially next image is automatic image optimization. It's going to allow us to just chuck in this, pretty much throw any image at it, and it's going to serve it with the right size set on the page, and it's also going to serve it in, you know, the best formats, so more than likely WebP for most browsers. So we do next.config.js, and what are we doing? So module.exports, we want to do images, and I believe we do domains, and then we need to do it like that. And we need to restart our dev server for the changes to take effect, and hopefully we should see an image. Yep, we see an image. And if you look at the network tab, we've got this image. It's 56 kilobytes, and it's served as a WebP, as opposed to if we go into our content portfolio, this is the work hard anywhere. This is a PNG image, and if we inspect, you know, I'm not sure. Yeah, you get my point. It's a PNG, and it's probably significantly bigger than the one that we have now. So that's a JPEG, 220 kilobytes. So yeah. Okay. So let's continue on. The next thing, well, what is the next thing we want to add? So we've got a title. We want to do the author. Do we have the author? Title, description, slug, tags. So let's just have a look. So what are we doing? Get portfolio item. Get portfolio item. We don't. So let's just go and edit this query. So if I just copy that, and let's just make sure we do the right stuff. So I want to get the author. Oh, right. No, sorry. This is a portfolio item. There is no author. That's why. So we got title tags. The slug is fine. We've got the description. We want the date. So let's get the date. So we might do that somewhere near the top. Let's just do a p tag. And let's do portfolio item. Let's just do new date, which takes a portfolio item dot date dot to date string. So cool. And I think that is it. So the last thing we're going to need is our content. So we're going to be using Next.mdx remote. This is what I use for my blog, and there's actually an example of how to use this specifically from the GraphCMS API. So we're going to need Next.mdx remote, and then we're going to use this HE library, which I've never used before until I looked at this example earlier. But it's a robust entity encoder or decoder. So we're going to use that as well. So let's just kill the dev server. So we want to npm install next mdx remote he. And then we're going to want these three things like so. So let's pull that in. And then as you can see, they're doing a similar thing. So you've got get static props. So you've got the query in there. Get static paths. They are doing a similar thing. I think the thing to note in the get static props function, we are returning a product prop here. And we're awaiting this render to string method, which is taken in the markdown, but it's also being decoded. You can also declare components. So again, if you look on, my blog, for example, we might have an image component. Yeah, so like this is a next image component. This is a custom component, which we can pass into the markdown. I'm not going to get into doing custom components. We're just going to stick to regular old markdown. However, it is relatively simple, and you can see the example here. You have got a component here, so a h2 component, which you're passing in these components here. So if in the markdown text you had a h2, it would change it like this. And what we can do, we can use this for our images as well. So let's do this. So we want to, within our get static props, we've got the portfolio item, but then we're also going to return the content like this. And then we're going to do, so content, and then we're going to await render to, oh, what's it just brought in there? Some render, no, render to string. And we're going to pass that in the content, but we're going to do he.decode. And that's where we're going to give the content. So it's portfolio item dot portfolios brackets 0 dot content, like that, I believe. And then of course we want to bring in that content here, and we're going to need to, so you'll see how it's done. So they use the hydrate, which is going to, if we do declare components, which we're not going to, so we're just going to pass in. So if we do, what is that? Just yeah, we can do a p tag. No, we're not going to do a p tag. Let's just do another div, and then we can call hydrate, and we want to pass in that content like so. So if we run the dev server again, when this reloads, hopefully we're going to see some content. Okay, perfect. So it's not looking great, but this is markdown content that you can see right here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now we need to go do the same on the blog. So let's, we don't have image, so let's take those while we have it there. Oh, duh. And then let's start just spitting out all of our blog content here, and we'll get into style and that afterwards. So if it's a little bit slow sometimes in development, oh, can't find files, okay. And I think that could be a caching issue. Can't resolve FS. I don't have FS. Normalized file. Is this? Lib bubble. Okay, let me restart my dev server. I'm not sure what is causing that error. Because we're not using that anywhere. Well, I do believe I've had this this error before. Now that I think about it, can't resolve FS. Bubble Next.js. I think add in config fs empty. In general means you're importing a server-only dependency in code that will be shipped. Ah, okay, I see the problem. So because we're importing these and we're not using them within our get static props, I think it's bundling those for client side, which is obviously not good, because that's not what they're intended for. So you see in our portfolio, we are using this Next.mdx remote render to string. We're using that on the server because we're doing it within get static props, and hydrate is being used on the client. So this render to string method, it's not been built for the client side of the application because we're only using it in get static props. But whereas in this file, we weren't using it anywhere, so it was being built into the client. So let's npm dev. So yeah, let's try it now, and I'm sure it will work. That makes sense. Okay, perfect. So let's start and get this stuff onto the page. So we've got an object here. So we've got an author content. So let's do date, description. So I should be able to copy some of this stuff over. Yeah, I don't want that image within that same div actually. Let's work that up there just on its own. So yeah, we can take these two. So it's going to be a post.date and then a post.description. Let's take this. I don't want that inside that div either. So let's take this div, and we've got the post.tags like so. We don't necessarily have an image. I want to do a div, and let's do like post.author post.author.name name, and then we can do an image like this, and then yeah, let's just copy this one. Post dot author dot image, was it? post.author.image, yeah. So let's import image from next image. Okay. And then let's make that a lot smaller. And we'll format this correctly using CSS. So there we've got the title, date, description, author name, author image, tags, and then yeah, let's do this content stuff now. So if we go back, we have got this content. So from our get static props content, we need to import this. So we want post zero dot content, and then we can take that. So beneath the tags, and then we want the content as well. Cannot access property compile source params is undefined. Content await rendered string post zero dot. Is it called content? Yeah, dot content. So we've got the content. Hydrate content. Okay. I was gonna say I couldn't see any problems with it. All right, so now we have our blog post. So moving on, we've got, I think, everything we need. So we're going to format out a header, a footer for the site, and yeah, we're going to continue fleshing it out and making it look nice. So let's get into making this look presentable. Like I say, I'm not going to focus on doing anything too fancy. You can go away and make of this whatever you like. At this point where you have all your data, yeah, it's really in your hands with what you do with that data. But for now, let's start by making a components folder, and we're going to do what are we going to do? Let's do a header. So export default function header. And then within the header, we're going to return a div. I'm going to have a div that just contains, awesome portfolio. And then we're going to have a UL which contains, I don't know, let's do a ×3. So we want to get rid of these hrefs because these are going to be links. Let's actually, I've messed this up. I want to wrap these. Let's just do it like this. So we want an li. Within that, we want a link. It's going to be a next link. We're just going to hard code these. So we've got an li, a link, and then within inside that link, we want just a regular old a tag with no href, like so. And the first one we're going to call home. Don't know why it's done that. Let's import link from next link, and then we can copy this down. So let's do home. We can do an about page like so. Let's do portfolio page, and then let's do a blog page. We could add a contact page if we wanted to, portfolio and then /blog like that. And then let's get to styling this. So I want the header to appear everywhere. So I'm just going to do this. Let's add in a fragment like so. And then above that, let's bring in that header component like this. So we've got our header now, and that will appear on all pages. So let's get to styling this. So the first thing I want to do on the very top one, I want to, I want to make this have a div underneath, add an extra layer of divs. So on this one, the very outer one, I'm not going to do anything for now. Let's just see what I get to. So class name, let's flex this one and justify between. And then I also want to do a max width. Let's do 3XL and MX all. And that should, why is that not working? Do we break something? Why is none of that working? Did we do the whole Tailwind thing in our app? So we've got Tailwind CSS, header, div, so width dash full. So I'm not sure why this isn't working. Let's inspect that. So the classes are applying, but it's not flexing. Is that CSS even working? No. Okay. Why is that CSS not working? Did I install, what version of Tailwind did I install? Tailwind CSS 2.1.2. I'm not sure if that is the one with the just-in-time mode. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so it's already up to date. So we have Tailwind installed. We've got the mode as just in time. We don't really need to purge with this JIT mode, but I don't think that's going to make a difference. npm run dev. This is Tailwind UI and not Tailwind CSS. I was contemplating using some Tailwind UI components, but I decided against it for now. Maybe I will change my mind on that one. But okay. Yeah, so none of the styles are being applied. Mod JIT. That should take a minute to compile now. So it's basically the just-in-time mode for Tailwind. It as you add the utility classes to your HTML, it will only generate the CSS for that. Whereas when we disable the just-in-time mode, it's using our Tailwind config to, you know, generate one CSS style sheet, so to speak. So yeah, our style sheet for this application now, it will be pretty large in development as opposed to being pretty small. So let me see if I can add this mode just in time, and if it recompiles. Okay, so this is confusing me. Did something change? Just in time mode just in time. Since your generator, it's crucial that you configure the page option with all of your template files, otherwise it will be empty. Okay. It's crucial that you consider. Okay. So then if I do Next.js again, and I add in this purge again, like surely that is going to, okay, so back to where we started, but it's working now, so that is good. Sorry about that. So let's continue on with our stuff. So this UL, let's add a class name here of flex, and I don't want that text for Excel on everything. On this portfolio, let's do, you know, like text to Excel, font dash semi-bold. And then I think it's this one. I want to do items center. On this UL, let's do text large maybe. And then I'm just going to manually add some margin to all of these LIs. We can do like a space between them, but we can just do it manually. And maybe just on this one, I can add some padding like that. One thing that I do want to do is, I don't really want this to be light, although do I not? I'm just considering, do we do light mode? Do we do dark mode? Do we do both? Okay, I will decide in a minute. Okay, but I mean, as far as it goes, like that looks just fine. And then what we can do, so for all of these A tags, let me just do this. So we'll do text-gray 900, and then on hover, we're going to do text-gray 700, like that. So I'm going to copy that for the A tags. And, you know, we could absolutely make components from this, a lot of components, but yeah, I don't really want to do that. In the config though, I just want to do cons colors equals require Tailwindcss / colors, and I just want to make sure that colors gray is going to be colors dot blue gray, like this. Why has that got that weird little color there? We don't want that. Okay, so we have a header. I think that text could probably be a bit a bit smaller. So if we just do like nothing. Yeah, that is absolutely fine. So yeah, let's have a look at what we got. So I have this on our index page, and then we need a way to display this stuff quite nicely. I think I'm going to start with the blog. So what we can do now is if I go to because we can reuse this one, the index page, let's do a div to wrap this, and then we can give it the same max width 3XL, MX auto treatment, like so. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add some padding of 4 SMPX-6, and then all large screens, all extra large screens, let's do like PX of 0. So basically we're going to have padding on the sides. Save that. Yeah, so we're going to have padding on the sides up until like this point. So actually let's do that large, because I don't really care for the padding because I don't want it ever to be like touching the side of the screen on a mobile. And then let's give so pretty much going to give everything that treatment. So let's give the header that treatment so that it will line up nicely. And then what I want to do is for our blog posts, so we've got a div with a class name there, and then we've got this div. So margin top of 10, that one's fine. So if I do this as a grid, and then let's do grid calls 4. And then within this, let's return actually, let's see if this works. I don't think I've ever done this before. If we return a fragment, can we then return 2 divs in a grid? Fetching YouTube, no. Grid calls 4. And then on this div, let's do class name equals call-span 1. And this div, let's just do whatever. And then we'll say call class name equals call-span 3. Okay, great. So that's working. So then in that call-span 3, that's where I first want to have the title. And this one, let's just do, so let's just add, we want the date. So we're going to say post dot, so we're going to actually say new date, post dot date dot today string, like so. Okay, great. So we got that link, and if you remember, we just want to have an A tag to surround the link like that, just to make sure that is recognized correctly by the browser. And then let's do something like text-3XL, font semi-bold, text gray 900. Oh, that's too big. 2XL, and then we can do, on hover, we want to do text gray 700, and then we can do like transition colors and duration 300 or something, and it will just make it appear a bit cleaner, a bit slower. And then on this date, let's do text gray 600, like so. Perfect. So underneath the link, let's add in here a post.description. And we can give that the same treatment. So we do like maybe text gray 600 as well. We'll leave the text the same size. Just see what that looks like. That's a bit light. Text gray 700. Just trying to create a little bit of hierarchy. Obviously the size and boldness of the title does a good job in that. You know what? Maybe it's going to be easier if we do this for every... Oh, what's it doing? Why is it doing that? Text gray 700. If we make that into a div and we just do class name equals, and then we do it just like that. I didn't like that. And then we need the key on there. So it's going to look the same. We can then do like py, let's try 4, py 8, let's go with 6, somewhere in the middle. On this description, we can maybe increase the line height. So if we do lead in, let's try that, too big. So you can be like quite scientific with that, but I just want to do it lead in relaxed. Let's do lead in loose. I think it just makes it a bit more readable, but that's maybe a bit too much. So let's do like relaxed, and I think that is looking pretty good. Maybe that date is a little bit big, so we'll do like text small. Yeah, okay. I think that is looking just about fine. We could, in that column, no, let's do the author just underneath. So let's just do a div, and then we'll do author, no, post.author.name. And then what we can do with that, we can do text sm, text gray 900, font dash semi-bold or something. Yeah, I think that looks just fine. Maybe a tiny bit of margin on the top to separate it. I kind of want it to be grouped though. Okay, so I think that looks fine. Clearly when we get to about here, we want it to be smaller. So let's have a look where we want to stop it. So right at 770 pixels. So if we just look up the Tailwind breakpoints, perfect, so medium. So what I'm going to do with this grid stuff, so I'm going to say grid calls for medium, medium call span 1, and medium call span 3. Otherwise, if we do like grid calls 1, you can see that it goes down to 1 column. And then on this date, so we're doing this one, so we maybe want to have some margin bottom like this, And on medium screens, we'll do margin bottom of 0. Okay, fine. Fine. That looks pretty good. I would say on mobile screens, no, it's fine, you know. I think one thing that we didn't do yet is we didn't do the author page. That'll be an interesting one to add in. So we can click on an author and it will go to the author page and show their bio and things. So that is our portfolio blog kind of done right there. And you can see it's ordering them by the date created by default. So let's move on to styling these portfolio items.